Folks, I tried to tell him to not get on the roller coaster. Don't buy the ticket to the ride. Don't experiment with the Jags. But he keeps doing it again. So after this loss to the Browns, are you ready to admit, Tristan, that this team is cooked?
I come to you today sad. I'm depressed. There's just no other way to say this. First, let me light my candle. My lighter doesn't work. So about like the Jags offense. Either way, in loving memory of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we put them to rest today. My belief in them. Every defense I can muster, every excuse. I'm not above excuses. I'll make all of them. Well, it rained that one time. He was hurt last year. No. Today, Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars must be buried 6 feet underground, 10 feet underground. I would say they were a good friend, but they weren't. I would say they were a reliable friend. They weren't that either. I would like to say they were a fun friend. No. Total, abject misery. I have supported them. I put them in the playoffs in my preseason predictions in the last hour, and they just keep letting me down. So we must bury the Jags. I'm getting off the roller coaster ride before it completely crashes, although it's probably too late. 13-18 to the Browns, Ryan. 13-18, you lose to the Browns. Trevor Lawrence took a freaking safety in this game. A safety. There are no words to say how disappointed I am. They had to win this week for me to even pretend that things could go right. But instead, I'm attending their funeral, and I just am accepting the truth. And it's over. It's over in Jacksonville.
Oh, man, I didn't bring my tissues today, and I should have. Oh, that was heartfelt. I really felt that deep in my soul. Thank you for that. I would love to tell you that it would get better, but
it won't.
The next 3 weeks, you have the Bills, you have the Texans, then you have the Colts, and then there's a chance that you're looking up at week 6 and you're 0-5, Tristan. You're 0-5. What's it going to take for Doug Peterson and these Jags and Trevor Lawrence to become a decent football team?
They will have to fire everyone that's ever had ties to the organization.
That's fair. I
don't care.
There's no other way.
Yeah, I don't care if someone had a sister who worked there as an intern for a semester. We have to move them all out of Florida, preferably get them to Maine, as far away, Alaska, another country, that's fine, anything. Get them as far away from there as possible, because I'll tell you this much, whatever they're doing ain't working, okay? Yeah. It's not working. I like Doug Peterson. I put the guy on my top 10 head coach list. Ryan.
Sure did.
And you agreed. We were like, yeah, Doug Peterson got Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. And he's secretive about who's calling the plays. Is it him? Is it the offensive coordinator? He's probably secretive because he knows they suck. The offense is an embarrassment. Again, we kind of talked about with like the Bengals, them not having creativity with the play calling. They look like Andy Reid compared to what the Jaguars put out there every week. The offense is pathetic, Ryan. It's like, how about an inside zone play? How about some slants? And then sometimes they'll run a play where Trevor Lawrence will play action and he's getting pressure because the offensive line's terrible. And they've got 2 routes running like 30-yard routes. They're not even coming open by the time he's looking. It is a total disaster. I really think Doug Peterson's probably going to get fired midseason because, I don't know how much we can put on Trevor Lawrence or not, but the bottom line, regardless, they gave him $50 million. So he's got to work. He has to work somehow.
If it's 0-5 going into week 6, you make a really good case, especially if somehow they go 0-6 and lose against the Bears. I think that's when Doug Peterson gets the phone call. You know, you mentioned firing everybody in the organization that's ever had ties with the Jags, and I think that's right because in the distance, I see Benedict Cumberbatch, starring as Dr. Strange, raising one finger, saying this is the only way.
Yes.
You have to fire them all, clean house, be gone with them. And honestly, I don't even know that if you did that this year, it would get any better. You're 2 years out from any remote possibility of getting into not only the playoffs, not only a wild card slot, but just in a winning record.
I want to ask you, one shining bright spot is Brian Thomas Jr. looked like a good pick. I mean,
that's great.
He's talented. Congratulations.
Yeah,
ETN, I mean, he tries. The defense, defense wasn't bad. I mean, they did okay, but they can only do so much. I want to ask you, I don't even know if you have an actual answer. Is Trevor Lawrence as bad as he's looked, or are they failing him? Because I've seen him be better than this. That playoff run where they went to Kansas City, like, he was good under Doug Peterson. And I dissect plays, and it's not like I can find 20 examples where, oh, that was his fault. That was his fault. There are those plays that are on him, but it's almost like everything around him. Like, I don't blame him. I don't feel like anyone could succeed right now.
If you live in a house with Chinese drywall, my construction friends listen to this episode will get that, you actually become sick, so you don't get better. So when Trevor Lawrence is placed into an organization that's sick, he gets worse and worse. That's why we saw him peak pretty much early in his career coming into the NFL.
Well, and the first year with Doug after Urban Meyer, after that, quandary, and then first year with Doug was good, and since then it's been a disappointment.
All downhill. He hopped onto the roller coaster, drank the Kool-Aid of the Jags organization, and stuck into the house with Chinese drywall. Now he's sick. He plays worse than I think he's capable of. I think if you transplanted Trevor Lawrence over to, let's say, I'd be willing to say the Browns. I think Trevor Lawrence could be a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. And that's saying something because I think Deshaun Watson's a terrible quarterback. But hey, he looked pretty good today against the Jags, didn't he? Look, what I think for Trevor Lawrence is there's one bright spot on this team, and it is Brian Thomas Jr. What I don't think is Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to deliver on a week-to-week basis to make him relevant at all. And I think we're going to see, unfortunately, him take a downfall. His career not be as impactful as it could be if he was on a team with a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And maybe they can get a coach in there that can run some creative schemes, can get them going. I understand they have missing pieces. I understand the offensive line isn't great. But I also am not just letting Trevor off the hook, because it's kind of like we were talking about before. When I give you that big of a contract, yeah, sometimes the play is going to break down and there's going to be nothing there. But Mahomes and Allen and Kyler Murray and guys like that are getting your kind of money. Justin Herbert, who's, not been fantastic, but even he, when the play breaks down, he can go make something happen every now and then.
Tristan.
It feels like if things don't go 100% according to plan, and the plan's not even good, it's over. It's a disaster. Wipe the play.
Sam Darnold's doing it.
I know. Now, Sam Darnold's with a great offensive mind, but we thought Doug Peterson was.
Exactly my point. That's what I'm saying, is like you got people like Sam Darnold. Gardner Minshew is doing pretty well. Like, you got guys like this that don't get paid nearly as much as Trevor Lawrence that are doing 2 to 5 times better than Lawrence on any given Sunday.
Yeah. But they're again, also in better offenses, for sure. I'm not letting them off the hook.
But that's part of my Chinese drywall theory, is that he's just around bad influence. Like,
they all bring each other down.
He's absorbing it. Like, this team doesn't look like a team. Like, on any given week, they look disorganized. They look like they're flustered at any given moment. And they never come together as a team and try to win a game. We even saw like the Bengals do it after a terrible performance last week. We saw them rally together against the Chiefs and, play them pretty close. This will never happen with the Jags.
Perfect example of what you're talking about. And then playing as a team, coming together, fighting adversity, being like, guys, reach down deep and find something. They went into the half down 13-3 against Cleveland. It was bad. It was really bad. They weren't doing anything. They couldn't move the ball. They had 3 points. Cleveland got the football first and went 3 and out. Jags got the football. So their first possession after halftime, after they've gone in and they've talked and they've prepared and they're like, we got to change something. We got to do something. They came out. They went 3 plays for -7 yards and punted it. Their first drive after halftime, where you gotta change something. You've got to motivate the guys. You come out and go 3 plays for -7 yards. That almost tells me everything I need to know. Woo. Even Doug Peterson's halftime interview was like, yeah, we just got to play better.
You think?
Thanks, coach.
If that's the type of coaching he's giving to these guys, no wonder it's so bad over at the Jags. However, I am glad you wore your suit, because it's the nicest thing close to the Jags all day today.
Yeah, it's definitely the nicest thing that will come anywhere in their vicinity. I'm sad because I have believed in them. And from being a Trevor Lawrence skeptic when he was coming into the draft, saying he was overvalued but good.
You got fooled.
Yeah, and then I came around and was like, it's pretty good. And it looks like I've gotten fooled. Doug Peterson, I hate to call for jobs 2 weeks into the season, but it's not just 2 weeks. And it's the way it looks. I like him, but I don't know. Maybe they can fix it. I doubt it. There's no way.
This is what happened. You and I went to a theme park, okay? You saw the roller coaster in the distance. You said, oh, man, that looks so fun. I said, man, you know what? Probably not. It's just not my thing. You go ahead. And then you got on it. And you said, man, you got to ride this thing. It is so fun. And then I started hearing some creaks. I saw a couple of bolts fall out. And you said, no, man, it's still good. It's still good. Trust me. Get on it with me. It'll be fine. And then more bolts start falling out. More people start getting off the ride. Tristan's still buckled up. He's still in it. He's in the harness. He's ready to go. And then all of a sudden, the entire roller coaster collapses. There's no more brakes. You can't stop. You're just in this whirlwind of loops upon loops upon loops. And now finally, my friend, you are able to get off. And I'm going to allow you to depart from the roller coaster, never to return again.
No.
If you can promise that you'll never return again.
I will not. As a famous scholar once said, I won't be fooled again. I won't let it happen. Today, we lay Trevor Lawrence, we lay the Jaguars at rest. I'm done. We're shutting the theme park down. Prove it. Hey, if they prove me something, I'll come back on and be like, okay, let's see. But I'm not doing it a second before that. You got to show me that you can do something, because what I've seen from the Jags this season, I know it's 2 weeks, but anyone that's not being this harsh is being unrealistic. It's been freaking pathetic, man. This is pathetic. No way to explain it. I'm done. You were right. I'm wrong. Let's let them rest in peace now.